I saw
See, I just can't relate. Try to pretend we're the same, but we ain't the same. You try to pretend for the fame, I say you were lame. I can't relate, I can't relate. I can't relate, I can't relate. Nah, yeah. You try to pretend we're the same, but we ain't the same. You try to pretend for the fame, I say you were lame. I can't relate, I can't relate. I can't relate, I can't relate. Had an epiphany. I'm in control of my destiny, I'm in this underneath. Members don't want to control of my identity. Project to cellophane, they give my soul for the fame, but it must be new to this game.
What is going on, YouTube? How you guys doing today? I am the Mr. Yours, and today we're playing Evony the King's Return on PC. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. If you're checking this out live, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you're checking this out after the video, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys watching. We wanted to go over a couple of things today, but first and foremost, make sure you guys check out Aptoid and make sure you guys use the code Mysterious down below. You guys will start off with a 10% discount and gradually move up to 20% discount the more you spend and the more you use. And every purchase you make, start off with 10% back to your wallet, 20% back to your wallet, and an extra 5% if you use my code. And just for you guys this month, we're going to be running a special on May 5th for an extra 5% back to your wallet. An extra 10% on May 16th back to your wallet, and an extra 5% on May 27th back to your wallet. So essentially, you can get up to 35% back to your wallet and up to 30% back to your wallet with every single purchase that you use, which is huge, especially if you guys are pushing for cakes and so on and so forth, which is just insane. Absolutely insane in my opinion. Jihad, what's going on, Jihad? How you doing, my man? Thank you for stopping. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for being here, brother. I do appreciate it a lot. So a couple things that I wanted to go over today, for one, was this whole T1 defense. I'm on the fence. And I wanted to pick you guys' brains about that a little bit. I wanted to pick some brains about that today. For T1 defense, you know, I'm mainly cav based. What's up, Barry? How you doing, my man? I'm mainly cav based. I am cav based. Cav focused. But if I switch up, if I switch that up a little bit to ground, just a little bit of ground, you know, maybe like 50 million T1s, 25 million T2s, and then like 10 million T3s. And then I end up running my weapon and my ring as percent based or flat based. Will that help me out in the long run? You spoke to my guest on stream? You spoke to my guest after stream in Whispers. Which one's that? The guy from TTC? And what do you mean by logical? In what sense do you mean logical? When you're talking about T1, you mean just focusing on just one or the other? Yo, Panda, what's going on, my man? How you doing, bro? Thank you for stopping in today. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope all is good. Oh yeah, Chris, I definitely, all right, so yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to kind of just touch base with what you guys thought on that, you know, and I've thought about that too, you know, if I ended up adding a ground troop speed, technically speaking, my mounts would still be faster than my ground, so my ground would be hitting first. You know, I think if you ran mounted and ground speed, I think your mounts essentially will get there first, and your grounds will be up to follow. Right. So my question is you know, I mean, in between each attack, you know, in each wave of attack, are my ground going to be effective against what's I'm being defended against? I'm not T1 ground, no. I'm T1 mount right now. Well, my question is, all right, so here's my theory on that, right? And, you know, there's a lot of technicalities that go into, but my simple theory on that would be my T1 mounts will still be doing a lot of the work. But, you know, running T1, 2, and 3 grounds with just attack, either percents or flats, will they provide more damage for me in between layers, in between attacks, you know, rotations of attacks? And the reason why I just say only refine them to percents or flats is because, you know, ground is already hard enough to debuff as far as HP goes. So I don't think you would really need to increase their buffs on that aspect, but I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a professional Evony player. I do not understand everything as much as other people do. Which is why I kind of want to pick everyone's brains along that line. ground to the tank, so essentially that's what makes them capable of clearing a T1 mount trap with ease. I've honestly archered hurt me more than ground so far. Really playing Battlefield and they had 122 grounds and they killed a lot. T1 wall is only effective if you have all refines for that specific troop type, from your understanding. Jihad, I agree to a sense. So yeah, I mean, against the siege hit, I can see ground being somewhat effective for sure. You know, focusing just grounds, it's not the only effective way. It's really not. Alright, so here's where I'm at. You know, like right now, I'm only running 2 mounted flat attacks on my weapon and on my ring. So if I were to change that out from siege, would the ground make that much of a difference? You know what I mean? Having the low tiers of ground, are they going to make it into battle? I don't feel like doing a driver update right now. Come on, I just went live. Will it have enough effect more than having the siege in there? There was no real effective defense. I mean, they all matter, you know, it all matters. But I mean, the counterpart to that is, you know, you build up one thing, but you're also making yourself vulnerable to something else at the same time. No, yeah, so I'm not designed for rallies. I'm not ready for rallies. I'm very, very far away from taking rallies. I'll be the first one to admit that. I will avoid a rally at all costs. Right now, I want to build for solo hits. No, yeah, I'm full T1 Cav right now. T1 can never take rallies, so I mean, I've seen there's a lot that goes into it, research, generals, gear, and all that stuff. But you know, on a general basis for a micro spender, no, you do not want to take a rally. If you're just a pure T1 defense, do not take a rally. I mean, you can take a 2-person rally, maybe a 3-person rally, but I mean, you get more than 3 people in there with decent buffs and some good generals, you're just not going to make it. No, yeah, I mean, there's a sense, you know, I mean, there's a cutoff point. Like, I've taken up to a 3-person rally and been perfectly fine. Then I've also been hit by a 5-person rally and got destroyed. Yeah, so, yeah, I just seen that. I didn't see his video. I just got the link to his video, and I'm going to check that out later on because I really want a better understanding of all this. And I'm very curious to see what's said in there.
See, I just can't relate. Try to pretend we're the same, but we ain't the same. Try to pretend for the fame. I said you were lame. I can't relate. I can't relate.
Right. So I mean, you make 22-1s. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends on what kind of player you want to be. You know, do you want to be a player for SVS, for Battlefield, or what? You'll do the T1 grounds to 100 to be your test mule. So I mean, talking to a few people, you know, and they're saying if I were to go the T1 route, you know, it's all gonna depend on layers and like just all your grounds, and grounds might benefit more just from percents. So Evony tips and tricks, I can tell you that I experimented a lot when it comes to the T1 mounted defense. And I mean, I know Panda has helped me a lot along the way too, and so haven't many others. As far as my K35 goes, I took my time building that T1 defense. You know, I started at the bare minimum of just 100 million T1s, and then I built my layers from there. You know, I took a few hits as a T1 defense at 100 million T1s, and I built up slowly. You know, then I did 10k layers up the tree. Then I did 50k layers. Then I did 60 or 75k layers. Then I went to up to 100k layers, and then that's kind of where I settled out. You know, I slowly built my T1. My K35 is a T1 trap, very slow, because I wanted to understand what was happening throughout the entire battle. And you know, I learned a lot by building a lot slower. So that could work. It could work for you, Panda. You won't be 20 to build anytime soon. I mean, I do recommend T1 for people. I do. The K35 using Trahan and Minamoto as wall generals. No kidding, huh? Panda is not even close to being T1, bro. He's got a very good build. Very good build.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about. I want you to hate me. I want you to hate me. I want you to hate me. Half as much as I hate myself. Know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, so Panda went a little bit of a different direction than he went the same direction but with different troops, in a sense, if that makes sense to you. Matthew, what's going on, Matthew? How you doing? Thank you for stopping in today. I'm doing okay. How about yourself? Trying to help several Alliance members build a T1. Smart. Oh, T1 archers, huh? Trying to avoid the Vikings? Yeah, dude, I feel you on that, bro. I really do, man. I feel you on that, bro. Big Rams, what's going on, Big Rams? How you doing, my man? Thank you for stopping in, brother. We decided to go out for lunch, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, hey, death by the zone, you cross the wrong one, you will get pushed back. On the ground, on the dog, need 10 flat to be in the same room. Pop out the cut with a stick in the stank boot. Fuck what you heard, baby, I've been around. Popo round, we need a moment of silence. Running from the beach to get away from the sirens. In a damn
Oh, no kidding, huh?
baby bone, I'm an animal. Made 100,000 racks at the Seminole. Eat a rapper up sick like I'm Hannibal. Got a bitch right off of the banana boat. Shake well made, bill set sales in a
So, Michael, you know what? From everything that I've seen, you can't have it split up too much. You know, I mean, if you're gonna be, especially for mounts, you know, mounts, it's huge to have the HP. It's huge to have the defense flats. You can get away with sacrificing some of your flat attacks. You know, like I sacrifice 4 flat attacks right now for siege percents, and I wanted to try running ground. I guess actually, hold on, I'm curious here. Let's take a look at some reports real quick, right? So I got hit over the weekend. Let's take a look at, I think this one's a ranged one. I got hit with a 2165 ranged attack. So this guy Maj ended up hitting me about, I don't even know, 8 times, and then Kelly hit me in between him hitting me another 6 or 7 times. So this guy hit me with a 2165 ranged troop buff. I lost 62.8. He lost 246.2. So let's take a look at the battle details real quick. I'm just curious. So I ghost my upper ground, but I'm curious how my general ground did here. T10 and below. Oh, I didn't have any ground here for the most part because he killed most of it in prior attacks. Yeah, that's without seeing actual reports from a painter, that's what I kind of think. You know, from what I understand, archers are 1-to-1. But I wanted to see what my lower ground did here, more than anything. So at 2 million T1 grounds, I only wounded 2.5. I lost 15k, we'll call it. 1.5, I went 3.1 at 15 wounded myself. 1 mil T3, 3k. I mean, I guess the numbers wouldn't be too bad, but I mean, if I had attack buffs on it, would it do any better? He whipped out my T3 mounted here. My T2 mounted. He did some heavy damage to him. My T2 mounted did very well. Got a mill. Then he hit the T1 wall and didn't wound any of the T1s there. By the way, guys, we got some big events coming up. Next couple of weeks for this month, we have some big events coming up. Aptoid has specials 3 days this month. Take advantage of those specials. It's an extra 5%, 10%, and 5% savings for you guys. Take advantage of that. Save the humans! What's going on, my man? Thank you for stopping in, brother. See, that's what I'm worried about, Panda. You know, just seeing like this ranged hit. You know, because I'm looking at it as a ranged hit. How will my grounds do? And by the looks of it, my grounds are gonna be a 1-to-5 ratio, roughly. So for every 1 ground, I'm taking out. For every 1 ground, for every 5 ground troops, I'm taking out 1 of their troops without buffing up my ground. Roughly the same thing. I mean, it's almost a 1-to-5 ratio or a 5-to-1 ratio. And I think that might hurt my power exchange more than anything. Because he did hit me with ground too, so I mean, when he hit me with ground, I mean, I was low on layers at this point. Must have unghosted some of my ground here. Yeah, I didn't have any ground left. Holy shit. My T1s were doing all the work here. Take care, Bowery. Thank you for stopping in. I was attacked by 3 Mr. Yours accounts as SVS. If you disbelieve me, I have a photo for evidence. He does. He truly does. See, Panda, that's my thing though, is like, do you think 4 refines are going to increase that? Increase that for the lower troops? Instead of 5 to 1, maybe it'd be like a 3 to 1, or, you know, hopefully a 2 to 1. I'm scared to test it because it's a lot of gems. It's a lot of gems. It's a lot of gems. It's a lot of food that I'd be wasting. And if it wouldn't, and I guess I'd kind of have to just go along the lines of building it slowly, you know, maybe 1 mil at a time and just seeing what the results were. You done coining? I don't blame you. Cold turkey? Music's too loud? Thank you. This might get loud for a second, I'm sorry. Wait, who are we congratulating? Congratulations, Smart. It's hard to stop coining, I agree. Kingly, is that better? Where'd you send it? My K35 or my K38? Oh, okay. Sounds better to you? Alright, good. On Discord? Alright, thank you, Chris. What sub generals do I use? Currently, I have Mark Anthony, Nordic King, Baldwin, Andrew Jackson, Nordic King, Andrew Jackson, Baldwin, Andrew Jackson. $16 billion food to make 100 million T1 grounds. So honestly, I might just start with 100 mil layers again. Do 100 mil T1s, T2s, T3s, and just go from there. Or do like 3 mil, 1 mil, 3 mil, 2 mil, 1 mil, and see how the next battleground goes. No, yeah, save the humans. I think you're right, man. And they need to get this shit fixed fast, especially with Shallon's coming up, man. By the way, guys, don't be greedy. Make sure you guys rally all of your Vikings if you can. I mean, yeah, definitely check that out, Pena. Let me know. I mean, I know you're a lot better with your grounds than I am. So your upper tiers might do some of the work. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Nero. A lot of people are using him because he's a free-to-play general you can get from the tavern. Easy to star up. You know, I have him on my K38. like his first skill set is just as good as Nordic Kings and Baldwins and all that stuff, just because it's minus 10%, you know, and that's huge. I think I have one of them on this account. I just haven't done anything with them yet. So you look at the skill book. Enemy troop HP minus 10%. 2-star enemy troop HP minus 10%. When general is the mayor, training speed and support is plus 10%. Enemy troop defense minus 10%. When general is the mayor. 4-star enemy troop attack minus 5. Defense minus 10. Enemy troop attack minus 10. So, I mean, a 2-star narrow I think is huge. Had to restart the game 3 times a bubble? That's insane. I mean, honestly, I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion. You know, I think if people are going to be running, you know, half mounted flats, half ground flats, and building 100 million of each, I think you could be hurting yourself more than you are anything. I think you should be dedicated to one or the other, than just have a slate. I'd like to test to see what it would be like to have 90% dedication to one, 10% to the other. But yeah, narrow is solid. If you guys can grab them, get them started up. Easy debuffs. You're running a Baldwin 6-star? Damn. 2 7-star narrows, Andrew Jackson, Nordic King 7-star, and 2 Mark Anthony 7-star. What server is he from? Going by looking at some of the pictures you sent me, dude. I mean, the gear is pretty solid. Stars are solid. $11.18? No kidding. So he spends. No, yeah. So right now, Panda. I mean, you've obviously seen my Queen Bee. I'm still working on her last specialty, but otherwise she's just about done as far as I can afford her. And my weapon, as far as my weapon goes, I'm running 2 siege percents, 2 mounted flats. Same thing with my ring. I'm running 2 siege percents, 2 mounted flats. So I'm wondering, I want to see what would happen if I were to switch from siege attack to ground and build a little bit more low end ground. So, Evony tips and tricks. In my opinion, from what I've experienced as a player, I think you should go to mounted. That's my opinion, because I've only experimented with mounted. I was gonna take Leo out and put in either Leonidas or Mr. Empanada. So I was thinking maybe Leonidas or Mr. Empininotis or whatever, one of these two, and then switching some refines to flat ground and seeing how that did. So if you're running a T1 horse, how many ground and ranged and siege should you run for T1s? It's not going to make that much of a difference, in my opinion. And we can revert back to the saved report from Maj right here. So Maj initially hit me with mounted. He hit me with the 1936 mounted. He cleared out some of my troops. He wounded 11 million. He followed up with another mounted, and then he switched to a ranged. So let's just go off of this ranged attack. He hit me with ranged at 2165 buff. And if you want to go to the battle details, let's just take a look. Take a look at what the T1s did here. So just strictly going off the T1s, I have 6.7 million siege. And out of that, they killed 3,300. My ranged, I have 3 million, it killed 0. My ground, I have 2 million, and it killed 2,500. You know, I think it's just all based off of layers. So, you know, I would build 100k layers going up. Go for your layers, just layers. Start off with 100k. from T1 all the way up. And then honestly, it's going to depend on your gear, your sub generals, what you have for subs, your talents, your dragon refines, your beast refines, you know, how much debuff you have or don't have, and experiment from there. So, you know, build your T1 wall, build 100k layers going up. And a side note is, you know, keep whatever attacking marches you want, but odds are you're gonna have to ghost them, but keep enough for layers. And then take a few hits and kind of go over your reports and just see what did what in each situation, and build from there. Like, all right, I can build another 100k of range or ground or mounted here, or T2s here, or T5s there, or T8s there, or T10s here, and slowly build off of that. You know, don't just fully commit to building 10 million T1s across the board. $100 million T1 mounted, it helps. What's going on, Axe Mayor? How you doing? Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for being here today. He had 800 million T1 mounts and 400 million T1 ground. Damn. Yeah, but that dude's just on another level. Wish they would release Jester. Yeah. He was an older general, right? He was way before my time. So Tim, that's just how I feel, Tim. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, play how you want to play, whatever you find fun. It's your time, energy, and money that you're spending on this. So however you want to do it, buddy, man, go ahead and do it that way, you know. And I mean, all I can do is just recommend you for what I've done, and that's just build slowly, man. You know, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint race. Take your time, build slowly, and understand what you're building. Because I did a lot of overbuilding, and it hurt me in the long run. And once I undid my overbuilding and took my time building, I understood better and grew better. By the way, hello to all my lurking friends from my server who say nothing but then whisper to me about my sarcasm. Hello, Save the Human friends. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. It was fun being on your server this past weekend. I appreciate the fact that you guys were all lurking from time to time. I tried to visit as many people as I could. It was fun getting out and just visiting everybody and just messing around. Research matters. Yes, it does. Research is huge. So yeah, all right. So what Panda's saying is, you know, don't overbuild your higher tier mounts. Because at the end of the day, you know, if say you're just running T14s for your mounted attack, you know, you're generally gonna run, I forget the exact numbers, but I mean, you're looking at maybe 55% T14s, 25% T13s. You know, call it another 20% for T12s, and then like 5%. 11s maybe. You know, you're gonna split your march up and then have 1,000 layers roughly. I forget the exact numbers, sorry, but you know, you're not gonna be running just a pure layered T14 mounted march. It's not gonna happen. So you don't need to overbuild your mounts whatsoever, which is kind of an issue I'm having right now with my T11 12 mounts. I just don't have the heart to dismiss them yet. So one thing I was talking to Asta about, you know, is the rounds. You know, like range have a 1-to-1 round, siege is 1-to-1, ground is 1-to-1, but mounts is like in a 1-to-8 or 8-to-1, however you want to put it. So that's why they die so easily in battle. No, it's definitely tempting to build extra for the monsters, which, I mean, you could overbuild your mounted if you wanted to, but you know, when it comes to like T11, T12, and depending on your size T13, you don't need to overbuild them, because if you want to be a T1 trap, you're gonna ghost them eventually anyways, so they're kind of just wasted. Just have enough for layers. Limbeck, what's going on, Limbeck? My lower range does nothing, honestly. Tim, just so you know, it's not going to be the same. It won't be the same. they're not going to be as benefited from your main keep troops. I mean, honestly, when it comes to your sub generals, I mean, unless you're coining a shit ton, just toss on. I mean, quickly go through and just toss on some quick refines for them, but don't overspend for those refines. So building T2 calves will help also if you're using flats. SME, S&M Entertainment, yes, but it also depends on your layers. So like right now at my size, having T2s do help. But I mean, if you're just running like, if you're running like 50 million T1s and then 50 million T2s, it's not gonna really act the same. I'm the person you're telling people not to be, Mr. Yours. Not sure how I feel about that. I have plenty of high-end cav. I hope we meet in Battlefield someday. Let's put these cav versus cavs, just meeting you out in the corner and see what happens. So yes, you know, I recommend. So I switched over to like the pyramid build of a T1 defense recently. So you know, I got like 220 million T1s, but I'm slowly building my T2s. I'm at like 20 or 25 mil right now, and then my T3s, I'm following it. It's like I'm aiming for 50% reduction between T1s, T2s, and T3s. So just call it 250 million T1s. Then my goal is 125 million T2s, then 50 million T3s. And it's worked. It's worked for me so far. As long as you're not scared of loss, you know, because like obviously going through the layers, because they're lower, even though they're a little bit stronger, your T3 is gonna get wiped out, T2s get wiped out, but your T1 wall will still be there. For me, what's worked is my T3s take out a lot. They're like a big cushion. Then my T2s are a big cushion. Then my T1s are just a massive cushion. So I can take repetitive attacks, and not have to worry about healing. 3 in the morning here in Norway. Go to sleep. Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. Sounds good. I hope. Hey, when you hit that retirement, man, I hope you go and travel a lot. And you can travel over to me and we can go out for lunch sometime. Get some sleep. I appreciate you. I appreciate you stopping in, though. Seriously. So if you have more uses, then it will fight more before they get the T1s. Exactly, Panda. So like my T2s and T3s are just a cushion at this point, you know. So if you had to choose from Queen Bee, get 450 frags for, or Marshall, that you can go to 7 stars, what would you go for as your main general? Would the siege buffs help more than the cav percents? So honestly, I would pick Queen Bee. In my situation, I would go Queen Bee, because for one, she's a lot friendlier for me to get in the tavern to ascend. I think having her as a defense general helps out your upper tier cavs, because you know you still want the cav layers in there to defend, and that's gonna matter. It's gonna matter when your mounts get hit. You know, those mountains doing damage is gonna reduce what goes down the tree. So for me, I think the mounted buffs are more important in my situation. But if you can afford to use Marshall over and over and over again and get more copies of him and to ascend him, I think Marshall isn't a bad choice. I have a Marshall that's almost, well, I was working on getting him to 2 stars. So I mean, you're gonna end up gaining Insidious Siege Machine and Ranged Troop Attack 10% and Defense 20%. So I mean, when it comes to defending against ranged attacks, it's gonna help you because your siege will be doing more damage, and you know the range being 1-to-1 range versus range, that'll help you in that sense. Steven, what's going on, Steven? How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing well today. Maybe 500k for T13. I think that's a solid number to stop at. Mr. Euros, would you agree that flat refine stopped being beneficial at T5? No, I would not. I think they're beneficial up to T10, which is what they affect. The reason why people will probably think that after T5 they're not as effective is because you're just getting a more power loss. You know, the power exchange is going to start being a lot more after T5. I mean, if you're focusing T1, I would go Queen B, but if you're going for all-around defense, go Marshall. Leonidas is solid, man. He's got great attributes. Good night, Evony. So, Jeremy, I switch it up. And honestly, I switch it up depending on my mood, you know. More of the times I end up using the fire staff. This past SVS I ended up using the thunder staff. But you know, I think it all depends. As long as you're not being hit by siege, I think you should be using the thunder staff. You're getting a flat and a percent out of it for your mounted. I don't know. I like switching it up. I really do. It just I flip flop them all the time. It all depends on my mood, honestly. Infantry is solid, man. They're tanks. They're beefy. They're tanks. There's nothing wrong about them. There's really not. I need more gold, man. I just burned through some gold. Been doing research all freaking day in this account. Marshals. I wish I could give you my Marshal, bro. Are flat cav attack buffs important for refines? I've gone for mostly siege percent with 1 or 2 flat cav ones. Matthew, in what sense do you mean? As a T1 trap? I was always told that the best tiers would be for T1 to build up more than others. Was 1, 4, 7, 11. We have 11% for the refine, for the percent refines on siege. That's just what I was told. Can't say for certain, but I don't know. Let's revert back to that in a minute. You completed the speed event in Military Academy. I did too on the K38, bro. Stay tuned, Goblins on the way, dude. Hell yeah, Chewy. Best March for Golden Goblins, tune in Tuesday to see. Alright. Day has mounted in siege. So, Chris, so that way, the most simple way I can explain it to you is T1 to T10s is going to be purely affected by flat refines, and then T11 to T15 is going to be percent based. So keep that in mind when you're building layers. Pasta, what's going on, Pasta? How you doing, my man? Thank you for being here. Did you go all the way up to T9 horses to give more support, or does this idea cut into the power gain from having the T1 defense? So, I mean, yeah, you got to keep that in mind, too. You know, power exchange is huge, you know, because a lot of people like to see the lower numbers. You know, they want to see, I lost 20 million, the enemy lost 300 million. That's what people want to see. So that's why, you know, that's why I'm mainly focusing currently on T1, 2s, and 3s is because my power exchange is still going to be beneficial to what I want to see. You know, when you start building T5s, T6, T7, T8s, T9s, they're going to be beneficial as far as refines and whatnot goes. Your power exchange will be less in a sense, but it's not even just a power exchange. You got to keep in mind what it's going to cost to build them. So you know you're going to spend 8 billion food and wood to build 100 million T1s, or you're going to spend 8 billion food and wood and then iron also to build maybe like a couple million of T9s or tier 8s. It depends on your it's resource consumption, it's power exchange. There's a lot that goes into it. What did you miss so far? You were eating dinner? Well, I finally got my pants back on, imposter. I was just twerking for everybody. It was crazy, man. Panda was throwing me a bunch of money to twerk for him. Jay wanted to see my feet, so I showed him some of my feet. He threw me some money. With 7 million T1 grounds, they killed 100k and wounded 120k. That's pretty solid, Panda, though. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm a trap as such. Do you have 156 million calves for a calf wall at the moment? Alright, so Matthew, that's pretty solid, man. You know, I started at 100 million and I did pretty well. A fully ascended Ninja Jackson is OP. You just fully ascended yours this past weekend. I'm thinking about going for a second. No kidding. If I did, I wish I could do that personally. You want 20 million? You want 200 to 300 million or 52 million to 580 million? Like I did to you this weekend. Listen, don't be handing out my OnlyFans code, alright? So that's what I've also realized too, Panda, is on a lot of the solo hits, like, so I stacked up a lot of T1s just to kind of see what they would do, you know, like 6 million, 5 million. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, they're not making it to the range, they're not making it to the siege, they're not making it to the ground. So it's not worth it. It's not worth building those lower tiers. But your mounts are different. You know, your mounted T1 to T3s are cheap to build. They're highly effective. You know, like your T1s, properly refined, are going to hit like T4 mounts. Your T2s will be hitting like T4s and T5s. Your T3s will be hitting like 4s and 5s. So there's a lot of benefit to just having T1s, 2s, and 3s because they work a lot differently than other troops. You know, I was recently told by a very trustworthy source, you know, like if you were to go full, well, alright, so flats don't affect every troop the same. Keep that in mind. I can't explain the exact details on that, so I do not expect you to believe me, but flats do not affect all the troops the same. Your defense build is a mix between flats and percents. My T1s to T10 mounted. Do most of my work in defense. No kidding, huh? Why does our hive seem so small right now? So, I haven't made up my mind yet. I want to try building some more T1 grounds and swapping out my assistant general to either Leonidas or Mr. Emp. And then I want to toss on a couple of refines. I haven't committed to doing it yet, but I want to try it. Damn right you're so big, Jay. Oh, in game? In game, yes. In game you are very big. Yes. My apologies. Do I have a lot of T10s? Me personally? Imposter might. Oh, Tim, my pleasure, bro. My pleasure, man. You seen reports leading you to believe that T1 ground is solid to build. I'm a bigger player, basically adding the T1 concept to my build. Tim, what kind of layers do you have from... what are your general layers? Oh, what's up, Geist, my man? I forget what account you added me on. You added me on this account? I think you added me on the K38, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you added me on the K38, bro. Shout out to Lazy Turtle and TTC. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't, just real quick, if you guys haven't, can you guys go check out Baby Bear? She is a freaking sweetheart. She has some funny ass content. I love watching her videos when I need to laugh because they're just funny, and some of them are very good and informative. But I watch her time to time for the comic relief that I need throughout the day. So go definitely check her out. She's got some good videos out there. Great person as well. Davidson 529 in the house. Matthew is a T1 defense. Yes, you should 100%. Do you have 5 million layers? Then higher on T11 to T14. So Tim, from my understanding, so just if you're at 5 million layers from T1 to T10, and then if you're at 5 million plus layers from T11 to T15, I can comfortably say that you would be fine switching to a T1 flats. From what I've experienced and who I've talked to, you know, I think you'd have to do some messing around, and it's gonna cost you a lot. But at that point, if you can afford and you don't mind trying it, from what I've been told, which I haven't seen results on, is you can run mounted flats at that point and run a T1 wall. Anything above 5 million layers, you should be fine. The speed books don't really work. Well, if you don't think they work, I suggest that you do some research on it and maybe do some testing in Battlefield. If you can, if you're not using the book, take some hits and then adjust to a T1 book and take some more hits by similar players, and you will see a difference. That is so true, Save the Humans. If you send me a meme in whispers that's not too dirty on stream and I laugh from it, you do get an extra % attack. Maximum 20% though. Yeah, Fafnir's just hanging out. He's our buddy. He's a chill dude. He's a chill Fafnir. He's gonna die soon though. He's not gonna live a long life, unfortunately. I use Cav Speed, yes. I can show you guys my books real quick that I personally use. Now, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of different opinions from other people out there. I can just tell you what I've used has worked for me in my experience. Now, I know every server's different, every opponent's different. Generally, this has all worked for me very well. But keep in mind that I took my time building this account, and it's still in the building process. I still have low tech, my sub-journals aren't done yet, but build slow. So for Queen Bee, we got mounted attack, good mounted troop defense, mounted troop HP. For Leo as my assistant, I have ranged range, I have siege ranged, then mounted troop speed. Not So Saiyan, thank you for stopping in, my fellow Warzone streamer. Not So Saiyan is from kick.com. You can follow him on kick.com. Name, Not So Saiyan 187. What's he play? Warzone 2.0. Great guy, great content. Check him out sometime if you guys are in some first-person shooters or some Call of Duty content. So yes, I do recommend running Cav Speed, 100%. I agree with what you're saying. I have incorporated some flat refine, so the idea is 2 flats on each HP and defense pieces. So Tim, so you're starting out at 2 flats for HP and defense. What are you running for percents on your weapon and ring? Chris is bugging your OCD. Kingly, I do recommend it. I do. I really do. It's a lot. I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this T1 defense. I don't use any speed, only Molly. Tim, so K33, that's exactly where you want to be. 28% on average. Yeah, but for what? Is it for ground? Is it for siege? Is it for mounted? Is it for range? What do you got in there? So K33, you know, I think that's where the fun starts, because you can start getting your Achaemenid gear. And keep in mind that depending on who you're going against, Achaemenid gear is going to be huge for you. Debuffs are massive. You know, if you're still going to kind of a newer server, you can get away with not running as much. How do I go with some of the siege buffs? Kingly, you'll be surprised. You won't miss it, I don't think. You're not going to miss it. I personally think just running, you know, like for me, running Leo the Third and then also running 4% siege buffs overall is pretty good. Yeah, Achaemenid gear is so freaking important. Yeah, I mean, Jay's got a very solid point here. I mean, that's one thing that T1 defenses need to know off rip is don't think you're gonna sit there and take a rally. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Port away. Get the hell out of there. Don't be stupid enough to take a rally. On the skills, not the armor. Yeah, it's not a big loss, bro. It's really not. What are your generals again, King Bentley? Like if I can take 10 consecutive hits by micro spending, I'm pretty sure I can help you guys get to where you need to be. I'm not gonna like it. Why not? Rain Hung, 5-star. George Dewey, 1-star. So, all right. You want to know more about? You want to know more about flats and how they work? Hold on, I mean Train. I'm pretty sure I know who Train is. I'm pretty sure I know who he is, but I gotta be sure here. Where's he from? I'm pretty sure I can point him out just by looking at him. I were to guess he's gonna be Japan, maybe. Korea, maybe Korea, China. Okay, so I was thinking of this guy for a second. Train Hung. Where's Train Hung? Where is he? He is in others. Oh, it's this guy. This guy reminds me of somebody from Dragon Ball. Alright, so you have him at 5 red star. Increases ground troops HP by 20%. Siege machines attack by 30%. When general is the main city's defense general. So then you also have ranged troop and siege machine defense and HP 15. Into ground troop defense plus 20, into range troop and siege machine defense plus 20. Into group HP 20%. I mean, I can see why you'd want to run him, but honestly, I think you'll gain more from switching out to somebody else. Do you have siege attack, ground defense, or ground HP? Not sir. I mean, those are good percents to run. You know, I think siege percents are solid, ground percents are solid. So, I mean, I wouldn't give him up right now to switch to just a regular 5-star Queen Bee. I'd say build what you need to build first. Make sure you get your sub general gear, and make sure you got your layers mounted that you need, and he'll do just fine. You know, I don't think you're gonna lose a fight just because you're using him. I mean, looking at it, it's going to help all your layers. If it helps your layers survive, it's going to help your T1 mounts a lot more. You know, because for each round of attack, if your layers are doing more and surviving more, your T1's going to have more time to do work and kill your enemies and then survive longer themselves. I mean, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, I don't think it's a bad idea. Just make sure you have the proper layers you need. 1378 siege attack. So I mean, it seems like you do pretty well with siege. So I mean, I know someone had a question about how flats work. So if you're taking a look at flat refines, you know, your flat refines are going to affect your troops T1 to T10. Then after that, the 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, it's not going to affect their stats at all. It's just not. It's not going to touch them. It's not going to do shit for you. So that's why T10 and under are so strong with flat refines, is because they get buffed by flat refines. That's the most simple way I can put it. And then when you're looking at T11s to T15s, they get buffed by percents. If you guys understand what I mean by that. So, you know, just hypothetically speaking, I could have 1,000 attack right here. And I could go all flat percent, and it's not going to do a damn thing for my T1 mounts whatsoever. But then say I had 1,000 attack on T14 mounts, and then I went all percents. It's going to buff it from 1,000 to, hypothetically speaking, you know, 1,500%. But if I switch from percents to flats, that 1,000 in the T14s is going to stay 1,000. If that makes sense. So, alright, yeah, I understand what Tim's saying there. You know, depending on what type of troops and keep you want to be is going to justify what wall general you use. I can see that being a thing. You know, like right now my K38 is kind of stuck in the middle, where I don't have enough troops to be effective at pure flats. You know, I still have to worry about my layers, but my K35 is, I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to worry about buff my lower tier troops. So that's why I'm using Queen Bee. You know, I think using the general that you're talking about, I think you'll be fine for now, because he'll be fine as long as you keep your layers. He's gonna help keep your layers alive, which will help keep your T1 mounts alive, T2s and T3s, so on and so forth. Anyone's in the Tyrant? The Tyrant's been working like crazy, man. He's just been very busy lately. A busy time of the year for him. He's just got a lot of stuff he's got to take care of. Asta will be back around, don't you worry. All right. Nick. I love that you just asked that question, because I've thought about doing that. I remember talking to Panda about that before too. I said, what if I use Queen Bee and Martinez? You know, because the buffs you would get would be insane. And I forget why I didn't do it. Yeah, so maybe it's because I had to change my skill books and I couldn't do that. Or maybe they just don't stack. I don't remember, but we did talk about that. You know, I mean, I've ran a lot of different combos. You know, I've tried out a lot of different generals, and ultimately, I've had the best results when it came to running Leo and Queen Bee. Those have been my best results overall, for me, personally. I don't think there's such thing as a best wall journal. I do like your setup with Queen Bee and Leo. Gives you a fair amount of diversity. Especially if you're unsure if you're going to build it. So right now my K35 is going to stay a trap. I have a mounted offense march, a siege mounted offense march, and a range mounted. Oh my god, I have holy crap. I have mounted, ranged, and siege that I can play offensive with. I just got to gear my generals for that. Only my mounted generals, my mounted and ranged generals are geared. Besides that, I'm a pure trap. You know, I don't mind ghosting my 3 attacks, and then I'm just a trap. Outside of that, I'm a trap. My K38 has come a long way since I got my hands on it, and there's still a lot of work to do, but he's coming up quick. You know, I got a lot of big things planned for that K38. Isn't Martinez one leading to attack in general? I think hold on, let's take a look. I think the attack of mounted troops that are led by the general increased by 25%. So you get an extra 25% per attack. And if the general brings any dragon, the mounted troops attack will additionally increase by 15%. So he's not attack. The attack the mounted troops that are led. So no, it's just led by. Doing Queen Bee and Dewey, I think that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, so this guy, depending on what skill books you use, depending on your skill books, you can use him, I'm pretty sure. Increases mounted troops attack by 25%, mounted troops HP by 40% with generals in the army. And you could get, I think last week you could get him. I mean, he's pretty freaking solid, man. I got him recently. I just haven't had the balls to really switch everything around and try him. And damn it. So thoughts. What are your thoughts on the books and percentages you get from the generals as a strength from your T1 really comes from flats? So I honestly think that it helps out more or less your layers. And I think people underestimate layers a lot. I think they really do. You know, you need to have very, very, very strong layers to be in an effective T1 trap. You know, you can't just have 100 million T1s in there and flat refine and think you're a gift from God. Your layers are what's going to make you survive. And that's kind of what happened to me before when I get zeroed out by a 40 with T15s. Is I didn't have the layers for that. And that just goes to show that layers are freaking huge. Your layers survive, the more the rest of your troops can survive. The more the rest of your troops can fight, the more attacks you can take from that. You know, it all works hand in hand. Yeah, Mr. Empanada, you know, I like him. I used him for a while. I like Mr. Empanada. Really, he's freaking pretty good. You would test it, someone with almost no layers, and do one with layers and see the difference. Yeah, that's one way to test it. So for the layers, should you have a lot of ground? No. No. So to me, ground is very vulnerable. I know a lot of people say ground is solid, ground is tank, but as a T1 trap, ground is very vulnerable. And like, I guess having too little is very, very bad, and having too much is good. Is not good. Having too much can hurt the power exchange. Honestly, I have a lot of success just running 100k ground across the board. It's not too much, it's not too little. It lasts for multiple attacks. I'll get to you guys in Discord shortly, by the way. I'm sorry. You have 3.1 million, 3.5 million T1 ground. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, unless you get zeroed out, they're not going to get reached all that much. Ground T1 defense was ineffective until I hit 50 million, but I stand by my infantry. I have seen it work. I've heard about it working as well. Not use a defense general all the time. All time one defense, one debuff general. Interesting. When Andrew Jackson, huh? For your wall? Why wouldn't you just run him on your subs? All-time effective? Interesting. You know, I've heard of people doing that. I've never really seen any reports of people doing that, though. Alright, but listen, it's past my bedtime, guys. It's past my bedtime. I gotta get going. I gotta say thank you guys for being here. I'll be live again Thursday. Either Thursday or Friday. We'll see. I gotta take off for now. I got some people I gotta reach out to. I didn't see how late it was. My apologies, but I do gotta get going. But for now, I hope we can touch base again. I want to talk more about this next stream too. For now, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out and just having a good time. I appreciate everyone's input and questions. If you guys have any more questions, just message me in-game or on Discord. I'll be happy to just chat with you whenever I have time. For now, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys check out Aptoid and make sure you guys use the code MrYours. We also got 3 days this month. We have 5%, 10%, and 5% extra bonus back to you. Make sure you guys take advantage of that. Save your money until those days. Have a good night. I love you guys. Take care. Peace.